Hello everybody, welcome to Roll Together RPG and to the next episode of our What the Heck Does That Card Do series, where we talk about various different commanders from Magic the Gathering, the types of cards that you might like to see in the deck, the types of cards that you might not have even known you could put into the deck, and we just ramble about other stuff as well, and, well, other Magic stuff, and you'll see loads of card pictures come up and all of that sort of stuff.
There is an intro script, you know. You could just read the intro. I'm just saying.
I could, but where's the fun in that? My name's Josh. I use he, him pronouns, and I shall be one of your hosts for tonight. And as you can see, I am joined by the ever-lovable Chris.
Hello. I use they, them pronouns and frequently talk back to Joe.
we talk back to each other. Well, Chris talks back to me, and I just go, mm-hmm.
Oh, I am an argumentative ass, and Josh is very. Oh, what's the word? It's that sort of like
placid.
I was going to say it's that thing where everything just skips off you. It's like, yeah, you can shout all you like. It's not going to change my mind.
Totally chill. Totally chill. Anyway.
I'm still bitter that it's not. We don't officially call it What Does That Card Do, because that is what it's officially called in my mind.
In your mind, it is, yeah. But for YouTube reasons, we can't call it that.
Fight the power.
Fight the power. For today, as we have said in pretty much every recording, we always do 2 episodes back to back when we record. And in this block, we are going to be talking about Edge of Eternities commanders, specifically ones that come in the precons.
Yeah, gone are our really weirdo commanders you've never heard of. These are ones you can buy boxes of today. Maybe not. Some are quite hard to get hold of.
Well, yeah. To be fair, it's more the cards that you could put into the deck that might be a little more ones that you've not really heard of. But anyway, the one that I'm going to talk about, and guess what, Chris? I forgot how to say this card's name already.
It's a precon upgrade, Josh. This is a thing. SEO. Yeah. This is a precon upgrade. If you buy the precon, congrats, you've bought a precon. I agree with this process. Buy precons. Now you get to go out and buy singles, and you get to go and buy cards that make your precon better. I'm not telling you what to take out of the precon. I don't know. But these cards are all good, and you should add them in.
Yes.
Yeah.
What cards you take out is down to personal preference. What is this commander's name again?
Don't take out lands. Szarel.
Szarel, there we go. Because I keep wanting to say Zazrel, but no, Szarel Genesis Shepherd. He is a green, red, and black 2/5 green, red, black, and 2/5 insect druid who has flying, and his ability is you may play lands from your graveyard. That may be important. Whenever you sacrifice another non-token permanent during your turn, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to his power on up to one other target creature. So that's who we're going to be talking about today. Now, the precon itself, I will say, which is called not counterintelligence, it's the other one. What's this one called? Lands? I don't know.
It's Lands Matter. It's a Lands Matter deck. We can debate this forever, but it's Lands Matter.
I didn't know I can't remember what the actual precon's called. Yeah.
World Shaper.
World Shaper is the name of the actual precon. I wasn't too keen looking at this precon because it focuses a lot on the actual precon itself, focuses a lot on land destruction, and the other commander for this deck focuses on sacrificing lands. The other one is a spacecraft who will pop up on the screen now.
Half hull something or other.
Yeah, that one. But this guy, I actually quite like him because you can play lands from your graveyard, and he's not about sacrificing lands. His ability doesn't only trigger when you sacrifice lands, it triggers when you sacrifice any non-token permanent.
But Josh, you see, audience, Josh has not entered the sacred world of sacrificing your own lands for fun and profit. I have a deck that does this. It's awesome. And it sounds crazy, because you play a land to tap it to get mana to play a card. Why would you sacrifice that land? Well, let me tell you, there's lots of great reasons to do it. I have a Naya, which is a red, white, and green deck that sacrifices a lot of its own lands to do tricks with it, and this is very similar to this, although that's more desert-themed, and this one is more generic land-themed. But yes, I think this is very cool. I think this is it's cool that they put it in a precon, you know? Lands, I mean, they did it. The one I've got is also an upgraded precon. It's Yuma from Outlaws of Thunder Junction 2 years ago. 2 years? Was it a year ago? How old are we? What is...
What is time?
What is
It
time?
was last
40's
year,
knocking.
wasn't it?
I think it might be the year before, you know.
Bear with me. Kobolds are just going to look up when Thunder Junction came out.
Either way, while
Did-
Josh is doing that. So the reason why land sacrificing is cool, you can still tap the land to get the mana for your turn and then sacrifice the land. And if you've got lots of cards that let you play more lands in a turn, you're not down mana. Nothing has changed. Also, quite a lot of lands sacrifice themselves. We probably won't talk about them today because they tend to be super pricey, but there are lots of lands that say sacrifice this land to go and find a basic one of two. And they're called, what are they called? They're called shocklands. They're the original shocklands.
The shocklands, you got the ones that tap and sack for 1 life, pay 1 life, tap and sack them to go looking for
That's right.
one of the 2 colours, but it's not a basic. You can go find any. So you can
Any
go find
forest
any
or plains or God
any
knows what
forest or
else,
plains, so that allows people to go looking for the dual coloured ones that
crumbles,
are
yeah,
both,
exactly.
yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that Josh and I will not go into because we're not experts in this. The land play in Magic can be very complex. There's a lot of land cards that let you sacrifice a land to go and get something else, or let you bounce a land back into your hand so a land counts for double and that sort of thing. They tend to be really expensive, and for my money, they don't make that much difference. The only time I can see it making huge difference in the decks that I have played and own is when you need specific pips. So lands make specific colours of mana, and if you need specific colours of mana to cast your spells, sometimes, like Szarel's, was it 2 red, green, black? Is that right?
2 red, green, black, yeah. So he's a 5-cost commander.
Thank you. Szarel's a very good example of one where it really doesn't matter. 2 red, green, black means you're more likely, frankly, to have red, a green, and a black, and then 2 mana of any colour at some point. That's fine, that happens. But if your commander, say, only costs 3 colour pips, and you want to have those 3 colours by turn 3 to play your commander on turn 3, yeah, pulling the right basics is not a given. Therefore, lands that can tap for any colour of mana, lands you can sacrifice to go make sure you have the right colours. I can see where the value of that is, but frankly, I think they're overhyped. I think they're more useful in competitive EDH where the specific pips at specific times really matter.
It's also
That's my vibe anyway.
They also help with filtering through the deck as well. You get other lands out so you don't accidentally draw it. I would, as a little insert here, Thunder Junction came out on April the 19th, 2024.
It was last year. Okay.
It was last year, yeah.
Right. I'm feeling my age more than usual. Then
Yeah. There's just been so many sets out that you think you'd think, like, it's at the beginning of this year we had the Return to Innistrad. The Innistrad Remastered came out at the beginning of this year, and it doesn't feel like it was the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get sidetracked and talk about set cadence, but there's a lot more Magic now. And this is a good thing. Why is everyone complaining about it? More cards. I know people get burned out, but more cards. Anyway, Josh, we've talked a bit in general about this, but what is your first pick for oddballs to put in Szarel?
Well, there's not so much an oddball. This is actually quite a good card to put into Szarel. It's also quite an expensive card, money-wise and mana-wise, depending on how you look at it. So I thought I'd go big and expensive to start off with, mainly because of just how good it is. It's Lumra, Bellow of the Woods.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. Bloomburrow Bear.
Bloomburrow Bear. 2 green and 4 for a legendary creature elemental bear. It has vigilance and reach. Lumra, Bellow of the Woods, power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. When Lumra enters, mill 4 cards, then return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped.
Right. Well, here's a good starting point for talking about this deck. Sacrificing lands. There will be a certain feeling of like, but what if I want to cast a spell that costs more? If I've played a land and tapped it to do a thing and then I sacrifice it, I can't tap it next turn. What if I'm losing out on higher mana values? There are so many cards that either say you can play lands from your graveyard or return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped or untapped, depending on the card.
Well, the commander themselves says that you can play a land from your graveyard, so...
But you can't play more than 1 land a turn.
No.
So, for example, if I play this and sack the land to trigger Szarel's ability to put counters on things and then play the land out of the graveyard, I've still only got 2 mana on the board. And you can't play an extra land out of your hand. It doesn't change. You only play 1 land per turn, regardless of where you play it from. So if you're filling your graveyard up with lands, either ones you sacrifice to trigger your commander, or just ones you've milled in with Limerick, because Limerick mills, the ability then to go, all of them come back. Suddenly you've gone from, I've got 5 mana to, I've got 25 mana. And that is a big swing. That is a huge difference, especially if you have things that untap things. You untap all your lands, and suddenly you've got way more mana than you thought you did, and you've got way more to sacrifice to keep the process going.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a very good one. Do you want to talk more about Lumber, or should I dive onto mine that does the same thing?
No, I think that's it on Lumber, other than the fact that it's an expensive card, but it's very good at what it does. And it's really good for landfall as well, which is a subtype that you could also put into the deck. Landfall is an effect where it's a variety of different effects that happen whenever a land enters the battlefield. So, for example, Scoot Swarm is one that when a land enters the battlefield, you create an insect token. If you have a certain number of lands on the board, you create a copy of Scoot Swarm. And
which then, when it happens, you make more copies.
Yeah.
I think I've had over 1,000 Scoot Swarms on the board at one point with a landfall deck. I'm pretty sure that's happened at least once.
Yes, no, it was more than that. It was a game that you and I played with some other people. It was your deck that you spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
Preston, was it not Preston, the other one?
No. Preston's different.
It wasn't Preston, it was the other one. What was the one you were talking about? Yuma.
Yeah.
You had 4,289, I think it was.
This is exponential. And because landfall with cards that say play all land cards from your graveyard, they all trigger landfall. Yep. So, yes, landfall and these effects is very good. Also, Lumra has landfall and triggers this effect. So, does Lumra's effect sacrifice it? It doesn't, does it?
Lumra?
Yeah.
Lumra doesn't have landfall.
Doesn't have landfall.
Doesn't have landfall. It's when it enters, it mills 4 cards.
Right, I thought that was a landfall, because if that's a landfall and it brings all the lands back...
That's broken, yeah.
Well, speaking of, because Limra cost how much? 20 quid? Give or take?
I don't know about in pounds, because I'm looking at a site that doesn't do pounds, but it's looking between $15 to $30.
Yeah, about 20 quid.
Or 40 euros.
Because the Men of Dominaria, which is 3 and 2 green, is a saga that does the same thing. Chapter 1 and 2 are mill 2 cards, then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and Chapter 3 is return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, then shuffle your graveyard into your library.
Yeah.
So that costs 22p.
That's a saga, though, so yeah, it takes a little while for it to get there. You don't get the effect straight away, but sagas are kind of hard to interact with.
From experience, one of the big problems with return all of the land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield is that if people have graveyard hate, like exile opponent's graveyard and that sort of thing, they will play it. The effects that say you play it and then it happens are very hard to come by, and 9 times out of 10 they are so expensive that when you play them, you then can't do anything on the turn before it to like make sure you filled the graveyard as fully as you possibly can. So you end up sandbagging in your hand this card that says, "Ooh, next turn this will be great. Ooh, next turn this will be great. I've lost the game," and that happens quite a lot. I think a saga is great for this. Josh is right. It's an enchantment. Enchantment removal is not easy to find. Some have it, remove any target permanent kind of stuff exists, but also Mending of Dominaria, each chapter mills 2 cards. Milling 2 cards means your graveyard will have more lands in it, because every third-ish card in a commander deck is a land card, but it should be. Keep at least 40 lands in your deck, come on people.
38 for me.
39 for me, but don't 39 and some ramp, otherwise it should be about...
Oh yeah, ramp's not including that number, no. That is just the land number is 38.
All right, fine, we're going to do this. Frank Carsten, do you know who Frank Carsten is? Frank Carsten's a pro player. He made a very good point in an article about 10 years ago that's saying, like, you need between 40 and 45 sources of mana in your deck. If that means that there are things that ramp to get you more mana, or there are rocks and that sort of thing, that's great. Don't go under that. You need that many to be able to cast spells of incremental mana on every turn. You only draw 1 card and you're putting down a land and casting a spell. You're gonna run out. You need to be putting in card draw, and you need to be putting enough lands in your deck. Anyway, reason why enchantments and sagas are particularly good, they're hard to interact with. Always an important thing. 2, you play them and they go off. So they immediately trigger. So when you play Mending Dominaria, you'll mill 2 cards. You return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. I presume that you will have other mill-style effects in this deck that fill your graveyard up. Or you'll be casting edicts and other effects like that to make everyone else sacrifice creatures so yours go in your graveyard where you have more use for them. We'll get to that later, I'm sure. So that's an immediate effect. And then at the start of your next turn, it triggers off the second chapter. So it happens way faster than you think. Like, the moment it comes back to your turn, you're milling again.
Yeah.
So it's only a turn after you've done it, and again, that you're getting this effect. Gives people lots of time to try and sort out the problem. Gives them time to try and fix this issue. It also means you can cast this, and you've got 2 turns to do other things. Because if you get it, great, you're going to have so much fun, there's so much stuff, put all your landfall things on the board, jobs are good, but also do this, and then keep playing normally. Everyone's
other threats on the board that they have to deal with.
Not even that. If everyone's scrambling to deal with your landfall nightmare that's coming up, they will entirely ignore the 2020 that you're punching them with because that's less important until they're dead. I find effects like this. I have a Sagas deck. We've talked about this before. We've done a Tom Bombadil episode, goddammit. But yes, the ability to go, this is what's going to happen in 2 turns. You should probably deal with that. I'm just going to be over here winning the game. That's a very useful thing to have. So yes, and it's a 10th of the card that Josh brought.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
My next card is actually a card that I own. It's a card that is the commander of my mono green deck. And in my eyes, it gives you an alternative way to cast cards just in case you don't have enough lands on the board because you've sacrificed all of them. It adds energy into the deck. Nissa, World Soul Speaker. She is a green and 3. She's from Aetherdrift. Green and 3 legendary creature elf druid. She's a 3/3. She has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you get 2 energy. You may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost for permanent spells you cast.
This card is sick.
It's very good. I've got she's the commander of my deck. My deck is to Chris I call it my landfall energy deck. It's all about building up the energy, then just playing big spells for 8 energy, and then using my mana to play other things.
See, there is a great example of, I've put this down, all my lands are going to come back. Oh, we should definitely deal with that. Cool, I'm just building up energy reserves over here, and then at some point I'm just going to cast this humongous creature spell for nothing. No mana. Just, here it is. 10 mana, big thing. Thunk. Oh. That seems bad. It is. Also, all my lands coming back, unless you deal with that first. Yeah, it's also, from playing it, it's awful. Because you're going to be playing cards like Cultivate that let you play an extra land a turn. I mean, if you've got the money for an Azusa Lost But Seeking, you should play that card. I've got one in my lands deck. You can play multiple land drops a turn with Azusa. Stuff like that. You just keep re-triggering landfall. Any landfall effect that you can keep re-triggering over and over again on the same turn, especially with something like this. Because it's only 8 energy to play any card, right?
8 energy to play any permanent card.
2 turns where you get to play an extra land for whatever reason, you can play any creature for free. Doesn't cost you a thing.
And if you do it with, if you've got this on the board, you've got loads of lands in your graveyard, and you play Lumra or any of the other cards that bring all of your lands back from the graveyard, you just pile up your energy. Use all of that mana's probably tapped now, but you've still got a shed load of cards in your hand. You just 8 energy to play this, 8 energy to play this, 8 energy to play this. So it's a really good way to keep your deck going, basically, especially if you do get to a point where you're like, I need to sacrifice these lands in order to deal with that threat over there through various effects. But if I sacrifice those lands, I've got no way to get them back. However, I do have 16 energy there, so it does still allow me to play my cards.
Is it just creatures, the energy?
No, any permanent. So it could be enchantments. It could be, Chris hasn't been against it yet, but one of the newest upgrades that I made to my deck was I put a Chroma's Will in there. That's a 7 cost artifact. So it's like, I'm just going to plonk that down for 8 energy.
To be fair, it's the kind of thing where you want, because it's a cheat effect, the ability to cheat out something big using one of various effects. It's just good.
Yes.
Cheating stuff out is extremely good, and there are so many Magic cards where the cost is like 16 to cast an Eldrazi and stuff like that, which you're never going to do. And the fact that you can then go, cool, I'm just going to play this 12 drop for free. Cool. It basically says I win the game on it. Like, that's basically it. Most Eldrazi basically say you win the game. They don't, but they do.
They do, yeah. I had I think it's still in there, but I had Blightsteel Colossus in there. The one that not the one that has Infect, the slightly weaker version.
Oh, Darksteel.
Darksteel's one that's got Infect, but it's the other one that I have it next, because Darksteel is ridiculously expensive.
Josh. Blightsteel has Infect, Darksteel does not, because the Darksteel Colossus was. You don't read the lore. The Darksteel Colossus was originally made to protect people, and the Phyrexians fucked with it. And it's a Blightsteel. It doesn't matter.
But yeah,
lore's relevant.
Nissa is 40p. Depending on
Nissa's great.
I love it. Yeah.
It's really, really good. Kind of wasted as the backup for what deck was she the backup in? She was backup.
She wasn't the backup. She's mono green. She was in the Timu precon, the Aether Drift one, the one that had Saheeli and Pia as the two. Yeah, she's in the deck. She's not a backup commander.
I've got my own Saheeli deck. I thought I got the precon for that. Do I have a Nissa somewhere?
Yeah, she's in the deck.
Interesting. I have to look at that. Because she's not in mine. Cool. I didn't know that. Next card.
For you,
right,
yes.
This is cheating. I was going to say it. This is cheating. Watsy did a special secret lair. You should put these cards in. Wait. Special secret lair. You should put these cards as upgrades into your deck. And they added this card. And so far, everything I've seen has said, don't play this card, it's shit. And I disagree fundamentally, because I think it's absolutely bonkers good. But it sounds weird. So it's called Aggressive Mining. Costs 3 and a red. It's an enchantment. It says you can't play lands.
Okay.
Sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards. Activate only once each turn.
Which you can only do that. You can only play a land once per turn anyway.
Yes, but you can't play lands.
Yeah.
You know when this card is amazing? Also, hang on, before I get into why this card is good, it's designed by the guy who'd made Minecraft.
Okay.
And the artwork, the original artwork for it, is very blocky style design. It looks like Minecraft. I love it. I think it's really weird. Now you might think about that and go, why would I want to play a card that says I can't play lands? What do you? No, that's a terrible idea. What good is that?
Yeah.
It has sacrifice a land, draw 2 cards. Card draw is really, 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 really important. It will trigger your commander. You can't play lands. You can play cards that say put a land into play. You can play cards that say you may put 4 lands on the board. If you play a card that says take all your lands out of your graveyard and put them into play, you're not playing a land. It's a great one. Like, admittedly, you need to have a plan ready for how you're going to get lands onto the board. You can't just play this and go, cool, turn 4, I play this. Now what? You're sort of screwing yourself. You don't want to do that. It's got to be in the right kind of... It's in my Deserts deck. I use it in my Deserts deck because what invariably happens is that I end up on turn 7, 8, going, I need some card draw. I really, really need to dig into my deck and find some more cards. I don't need more lands in play right now. I'm fine. What I need is more cards in my hand. And also, every time I sacrifice a desert, I'll get 2 different tokens because of the cards I have out. You can still get benefit from sacrificing lands. Szarel gives boosts things, sacrificing lands. So that's not a downside. Drawing 2 cards is extreme upside, and you're in a deck where sacrificing land doesn't hurt you. This is also a deck where you can play this, and chances are you can have a way to remove it. Because Szarel cares about sacrificing any non-land and any permanent, right?
Any non-token permanent, yeah.
Any non-token permanent, thank you. So, I presume that you'll have Plague Crafters, Fleshbag Marauders, all these classic cards that say everyone sacrifices a creature. If you can find sacrifice a permanent effects in that, or destroy target permanent effects in that for your own removal, playing this and in your hand knowing, next turn I'll remove it. I'll sack a land, draw 2 cards, then remove this so I can play my land for turn. That works. It requires some... You need to be careful putting this in a deck, or just playing it willy-nilly is stupid. Don't do that. But in the mid to end game, you will want to draw more cards. It is very important. If sacking a land doesn't hurt you, and if not being able to play lands isn't the end of the world for you, the ability to draw 2 cards and get some benefit off the sacking makes this card worthwhile.
Yeah.
What's he even agrees with me? You know? The fact that most people disagree with them means they're all wrong? Yes. We'll go with that. It's a big risk. You've got to be careful with it.
Yeah. Moving swiftly on before we get ourselves in trouble.
It's cool. Come on.
I've just realised that my next card, I've gone from expensive to cheap to expensive. Again, I didn't realise that. Right, so this card varies in dollars from $10 to $50.
What?
Yeah, depended on this is dependent on the edition. So the Secret Lair one's 50.
Of course, it's Secret Lair.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna butcher this. Azusa, Lost but Seeking. Yeah,
I just mentioned it. Yeah, I just mentioned it.
Yeah, just mentioned it. Yeah, you may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. Fantastic. Yeah. Especially if your commander is out and those lands are in your graveyard, because you can play lands from your graveyard.
It's true, actually. It's a really nice synergy with the commander. You can just literally go, doesn't matter where they are, I can play them out.
Yeah.
That does say play, doesn't work with aggressive mining, so automatically.
No, but, if you want to keep your hand... See, you've got lands in your hand, but you don't want your opponent to think that. You want your opponent to think that you want to play some mind games with your opponent and make them think that you've got some removal or something in your hand, but actually it's a land. Then play the lands from the graveyard, where they know they are. Yes. They know that those are the cards there. They don't know what's in your hand.
I will also say, in a rare moment of caring about the price of cards, I have the $50 version of this card, which is a foil Japanese artwork one, and it is beautiful. I don't often say this, but sometimes a card is worth buying because of the art.
It's going to pop up on the screen over there in a moment, because I tend to try and have all of the arts come up for each of the cards that we put on anyway, so at some point talking about them.
I was just lucky. I got it as the Secret Lair, and I got it an original run when it wasn't like everyone's like, this is the most amazing thing ever, and it's worth a fortune now, but yeah, it was so pretty. Oh. Yeah. All right, next weirdo. I love this one, particularly in this deck, I will say. It's called Overlaid Terrain, 2 green, enchantment. As this enchantment enters, sacrifice all lands you control.
Which would massively trigger your commander, yes.
And would trigger, anything you have that cares about lands dying.
Yeah.
Triggers all of them. Also, for my absolute, play this the turn before your Mending of Dominaria. It's going to trigger on the next turn to play them all again. Because that's the primary effect. Secondary effect, lands you control have tap, add 2 mana of any one color.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This is also in my Deserts deck, and it's so good because it sounds insane. Play it at the end of your turn, tap all the lands first. But once you've done that, they are no use to you until next turn. Unless you've got instants playing other people's turns, which, don't.
Well, you can't.
You shouldn't. What you can do is play it before your land drops. You can always have 1 mana you've put down, because then that taps for 2.
Yeah.
So there are ways to time this. But generally speaking, if you have a way to sack them all and then bring them all back and they tap for double mana, and you have things that care about lands coming in or leaving, I've done this once. I once played Overlaid Terrain and then used an Aftermath Analyst's activated ability to sack all my lands and bring them all back on the same turn. I think I generated 40 mana, and there were 35. No, because they all left. All 20 left, which all triggered things of... Because I've got Titania in that deck too, so it was all when things leave, make a thing. And they all came back in again, and my son went, I don't want to play it anymore.
That's just mean.
Well, no, what he did was go, can I forfeit now? Because you definitely won. Yes, of course you can. He's only 11. But yes, that's my hot take. Overlaid Terrain is an amazing card. And again, 72p, because it's a crazy thing to play in 9/10 of decks. This is the one.
My next one, you're going to grumble at this.
Why?
It's a Planeswalker.
I don't mind Planeswalkers.
It's a
They're
Planeswalker.
fine. Stupid broken mechanic, but it's fine.
This one could also double up as the backup commander for your deck.
Oh god, it's Lord of fucking Windgrace.
It is. It is.
All right. I don't think Josh and I were talking. In the olden days, people play Lord of Windgrace. The other person goes, "Am I dead? Is that it?"
I thought I haven't really spoken much about Planeswalkers in the videos that we've done, and I thought, well, why not? Why not do it?
Yeah. Tell them what Lord of Windgrace does. Which every player listening to this go, dear God.
So Lord of the Windgrace is a green, red, and black, and 2 legendary Planeswalker Windgrace. Don't know why that's there. He has 5 loyalty.
They all have their own name as a type.
Okay.
Part of design.
Yeah, it has 5 loyalty. Its +2 loyalty is discard a card, then draw a card. If a land card is discarded this way, draw an additional card. He has a -3, return up to 2 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. And in -11, which is what we like to call their ultimate, destroy up to 6 target non-land permanents, then create 6 2/2 green cat warrior creature tokens with Forest Walk. I don't see that one being used that often, but the other 2, yes.
The reason why the ult is so good is because it's very, very easy to get the benefit out of discarding a card and drawing 2. He just sits on the field, you discard 1, you draw 2, and if you're discarding a land, you get extra benefit as well. And discarding the land in this case means you then play it out of the graveyard with your commander. So you're effectively doubling up on that for free to draw 2 cards a turn to build him up to his ult very quickly. He starts at 5, his ult's at 7. It's very, very easy to get there. And also, you're playing him in a deck where you're going to have things that can defend him. So the chance of sticking around is very high. The reason why he's often seen as like seen as such a powerful thing is that ult clears the way and then makes a whole bunch of things that can't be blocked, because Forest Walk means it can't be blocked. So anyone playing green, one of the most common colours played, is can't block your creatures. It's quite easy to use the ult and overrun, and the 3 down, the discarded card, what's the 3 down? Is you get to bring 2 things back.
2 lands back from your graveyard to the battlefield, so that would go around that card that you mentioned before.
Aggressive mining, yeah, it's put not play. And put not play means that you can play 3 lands a turn. And you're putting lands in the graveyard with the first ability. 2 or 3 turns with Lord Windgrace, and you should be winning. The amount of value it generates is so crazy that it's just such a good card. Such a good card. There's a non-Planeswalker version of his Ghost called Soul of Windgrace. I've got it in a deck. Can't remember what it's called. Soul of Windgrace. That's it. Which has very similar effects, but it's a creature. Hang on, let's get it up. Soul of Wind. Yeah, found it. When it enters or attacks, it's a 1 green, black, red, so it also goes in the deck if you wanted to. Whenever it enters or attacks, you may put a land card from a graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. And then for green, discard a land card, gain 3 life. For 1 and a red, discard a land card, draw a card. And for 2 and a black, discard a land card, it gets indestructible, tap it. So quite similar.
Yeah.
I think that's in the deck. Yeah, it is.
What is in the precon?
It's in the precon, yeah. It's fantastic. It's obviously anything that says discard a land in this deck just means there's your land for turn. It doesn't matter where it goes. As long as it goes around and comes back onto the board, who cares? Right. We've talked a lot about landfall, getting more lands on the board, sacking lands in a successful way. This was in the precon for my Deserts deck, so it's a bit cheating because it's obviously good with lands decks. It's called Rumbleweed, 10 and a green. It's a plant elemental. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each land card in your graveyard.
Okay.
Vigilance, Reach, Trample. When this creature enters, other creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain Trample until end of turn, and it's an 8/8.
Wow.
The cool thing about this It doesn't... Whatever you have on the board at the start of your turn, if you have a way to sack all your lands, bring all your lands back, whatever, you have a really good way of casting this for nothing. Because as long as there's lots of lands in the graveyard at one point during your turn, however you decide to make that happen, those lands will mean this costs nothing. And then it's an overrun. Overruns in green are just give it a big boost, give it trample. And +3/+3 in trample means whatever you've got on the board is just going to crash through any enemy board. Most overrun effects are just other creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample or whatever, something to that effect, and they're cheaper than this. This is also an 8/8 body with vigilance, reach, and trample. It cannot attack that turn. However, what it does do really, really well, which often happens with these things, is it defends. Because if you're giving everything trample and it's all attacking, if you're not killing all three players, you are getting murdered on the crackback. There's no way. Whereas if you've got this thing out, it's an 8/8 with vigilance and reach. You can block some of what will come back your way if you don't kill everyone immediately. I mean, that deck is all about making tokens. This one is less so about making tokens because you got sacked on tokens to kick it off the commander's effect. But I still think it's a really good ad. Would recommend.
Also, the deck has red in it, so there are easy sources to put in there that can give your creatures haste.
Oh, of course.
You did want to tag with it.
Yeah, like Rising of the Day or all the other ones. There's so many.
There's so many. There is one in the precon, actually. The Hammer of Ouroboros or something.
Perforos.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That gives all creatures haste, so that's already in the precon.
Yeah. I don't know if... I haven't looked at the precon in great detail, but I don't think it cares that much about tokens. I think the creatures that you play, they tend to be quite beefy and you want to Jund them out, because that's why Jund them out exists as a turn of phrase. It was used in Standard back in pre-COVID times as Jund them out, was just where you played lots of big things and hit people with them. Jund them out. So, yeah. Dragons mostly, I think. Anyway, that's Rumbleweed. Heartily recommend.
My next card is an enchantment.
Good.
And I looked at this enchantment and thought, why the hell is this enchantment so good?
That's always a good sign.
It's called Retreat to Hagra.
Yeah.
It's a 2/black enchantment. It has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. First one is target creature gets +1/+0 and gains death touch until end of turn. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Now go back to Lumra, bringing all or any other card that brings all lands back from your graveyard. With this on the board, you can potentially burn out the board, or you could really sort of deck out 1 card with +1/+0. If you wanted to hit particularly hard. The good thing about the commander is the commander has flying, so that is a form of evasion. So it could, if you wanted to do that, although if your opponent's life is too high, because if you do that, bring 10 lands back, burn the table for 10, and then gain 10 life back, that's going to paint a big target on your back. So this is the kind of thing that you, when you bring the lands back, you really want to think, do I want to burn the table or do I want to go for one big swing?
See, I think that's particularly fascinating because there are loads of retreat cards. There's one for each colour. There's Retreat to Kazandu, there's Retreat to Hagra. They're different. I think they're different lands from Dominaria. I don't know exactly. I don't even know what the red one does. They all have like quite good colour-themed one. The blue one I use all the time to tap something down when you play a land, which is great. What this is really cool for is the other thing, which is trying to find a way to play lands out of turn. Because you can. If you can cast a ramp spell that puts a land on the battlefield, that will trigger landfall. If you can do that in a way that gives your commander suddenly it's got flying, gives it death touch, suddenly they go, oh, before you go to combat, I'm just going to play this to play a land, and now my commander's got death touch. And they go, well, now I'm not attacking you. Commander, because there's 3 opponents, tends to be a game very much of, how do I make myself the least appealing target?
Well, that's the thing, though, is there's plenty of ramp spells out there that are instant. So in combat, once your opponent's declared attackers, if they're attacking at you, play one of your instant ramp cards, go get a land, put it on the battlefield, use this to give one of your creatures death touch, and then block. They can't do anything about it.
This is where we differ. I would do it before combat. I'd go, hey, just so you know, my commander's now got death touch. Send your things elsewhere. You don't need. I'm fine.
Yeah. But then it's like
I'll remove your thing.
I could just take the thing out instead.
You could, or you could put the threat of it out there for no cost to yourself, apart from a land which you wanted. But yes, we haven't talked about lands specifically, because there's most lands you play it, you tap it for mana, boss. There's other things that lands do. There's a lot of utility lands out there, most of which like what's the really classic ones? Like, what are utility lands you play all the time?
Rogue's Passage.
Yeah. Escape Tunnel.
Yeah, Rogue's Passage, Access Tunnel, Escape Tunnel.
They all give unblockable.
They all give all of each of them tap that land and X other numbers of lands to give them unblockable. There's which is Hut, I think it is. It's the one. Is that the one?
Now. Gives things lifelink.
Yeah, gives things lifelink. You've got another one that gives +1/+1 counters to all creatures on the board. There's another one that gives things haste and trample and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, basically put utility lands will tap for mana, but they have other things they can do. 9 times out of 10, honestly, you just want to tap for mana. There's some that are good. I'm not pretending to say they're on, like, some are okay, but they tend to take coloured mana pips out of your ability to cast, which can be a bit of a problem. Now, deserts were a whole thing that came out with Amonkhet, and then they got used around, and my landfall thing cares about deserts specifically, so I've got a lot of deserts in my deck. There is a desert that is much, much more famous than this one, that is a game changer, that people really shouldn't play because it's impossible to interact with lands. Commander has an unspoken rule of no land destruction, basically, which means if you play a land that does something heinous, most people go, well, I haven't got anything in my deck that says destroy a land, and I don't want to destroy a land. It's Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead is a famously awesome game changer card. I'm not recommending Field of the Dead. Don't play game changers. Game changer is basically a big old signpost that says, if you want to be play this card. Feel free to believe that, Josh.
I
will. Dunes of the Dead is a much less offensive version of a very similar effect. Taps for a colorless, or when this land is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. There is no reason that you can't, as I do in my lands deck, cycle this every turn. And then you just have a 2/2 zombie. And a 2/2 zombie that just sits around blocking all day is really, really useful. Especially if every time I block the thing that, this 10/10's attacking me, cool, I block it with the 2/2. Does it have trample? No, fine, nothing happens. What happens this turn? I'll put the zombie back in again because I cycled the land. Watching people tear their hair out is great. It's particularly good, this one, because it also triggers when it dies. There are other cards that trigger when they go into the graveyard, like my Desert Commander Yuma triggers when it goes into when lands go into the graveyard. You want to look for cards like that too. Cards that say when this land is into a graveyard, when this land dies, is the new terminology what he's using. These are useful because things that trigger when you play them, things trigger when they come out of the graveyard is great. Triggering when they go in is less common and is actually the bee's knees. Very, very useful. You can't sack the black zombie token to make the commander work, so not quite as good as in my tokens deck, but I still think it's a really easy add for a very low opportunity cost.
And it's a blocker as well, so...
Yeah, it's a repeatable blocker. I mean, I've never attacked with a 2/2. It's just a blocker. It just sits there going, and I've got no creatures. I've got one. If you gave that thing Death Touch, that with the Return to Hagra giving it Death Touch is the most insulting.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Should do that.
I'm pretty much done. My 5 cards are done, but I do have one honourable mention card that I want to just say. Oh, good. This one is one that is in my landfall deck and is a good way for you to sacrifice your lands. It's called Zuran Orb. It costs nothing to cast. And its
love this card.
It has a cost of sacrifice a land. Once that's done, you gain 2 life. It's a very good card.
It's a land sacrifice trigger. It's a famous land sack trigger. It costs nothing. You don't even tap it to use the effect, do you?
No, you can do it on somebody else's end step to sacrifice all the lands before your turn, and then, you know.
Do you know what's really shitty about it? And I've seen it done with this, and it's great. You know how you've got things like Mending Dominaria that trigger at the beginning of your turn, and
Yes.
this is a free activated ability? If on the combat step before, they're like, we'll kill you before you do it, it'll be fine. You play a Zoran Orb, they go, because they do damage to you, and you go, cool, I'm sacking all my land. I gain 20 life. So it's not enough to kill me. And now all my lands come back.
Yeah. I'll bring all my lands back. Thank you very much.
That was also in the upgrades for this deck. Secret deck.
Yes.
And perfect addition. Absolutely brilliant. I have two. One is exactly the same as what Josh just said.
Oh, is
except
it?
it's a creature. Well,
Oh, okay.
it's Lithertug.
Okay.
Now, for those not aware, there was a creature type called an Atog that was around at the dawn of Magic's time, and then they stopped making them because they were dumb. Atogs basically eat something. Whatever it is that they eat that. And they will sacrifice things off the board for you. They will, their name is meant to be the thing that they eat, Atog. So the commander Atog is called Atog, because all it eats is other Atogs. I have an Atog deck. It's dumb. I love it. Anyway, Lithertug, 1 green red, which was I think the second round of Atogs, which is Odyssey, has 2 abilities. Sack an artifact, gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Sack a land, gets +1/+1 till end of turn. It's a 1/2. It's not big. What this is cool for is sacking a land for free, and sacking a land as an activated ability, like we said with Zoran Orb, on end step, in response to combat damage, suddenly going, oh, this blocker, it's a 1/2, and you're going to hit me for 6. Cool, I sacrificed 7 lands, and now it's big enough to eat your creature.
Yeah.
This kind of thing is a really great way to use Lithertug. It also sacks an artifact for free. And frankly, in this deck, which only cares about sack a non-token permanent, the ability to just have this on the board and go, I need to sack something this turn to be able to get my trigger, cool, I'll sack that, is very, very useful. And because Atogs are from the dawn of Magic's time, the artwork is bananas. So it's this weird-looking thing you see on the screen. It's a weird... All the Atogs look bloody weird. Oh, I love them. And my last one has nothing to do with lands or landfall or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a legendary Scorpion Dragon rogue with flying and trample called Akul the Unrepentant. And that is it's on the screen now. It is some baller fucking art. This is the back of a Hell's Angel jacket. This is great. It's a Scorpion Dragon.
I mean, that sounds cool in and of itself.
Yeah. And he's got flying and trample. He's a 5/5, and he costs 2 black and 2 red. His activated ability is sacrifice 3 other creatures. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcerer, only once each turn. Now, you might be going, why the hell would I play this? This is violent and crazy. We haven't talked about it. I thought Josh might have put to push some out there, but edict effects like Plaguecrafter, Fleshbag Marauder, what's the new one? I can't remember. There's about 20 of them,
Yeah,
and they all do
it.
Yeah, they all do the same thing. You play it, and then everyone sacrifices a creature, including you. It's a great way to trigger your commander. It's a great way to clear enemy boards. They're called edicts. People don't like them. I wonder why. Because they don't target. So they get around hexproof, they get around shroud, they get around any kind of board protection.
Indestructible.
Yeah, all of it. Because, and I think, no, everyone sacrifices. You're right, gets around indestructible. That's just good. That is a good effect to have in this deck because it means you'll trigger your commander, so whatever you're left on the board gets bigger, and you get to make everyone else lose creatures. Just a good thing to put in this deck, even though, frankly, you're a monster for doing it. Akul is great because it's a flying trample 5/5. Flying trample 5/5 means it gets referred to as flample. It does. A lot of dragons have flample. Basically put, he's impossible to block because he has flying. So already you need a flying or a reach creature to block him. And then even if they have flyers don't tend to be huge. They tend to be little birdies and little small things. Only like big fuck off dragons have flying and trample.
Yeah, unless you're going against a dragon deck, yeah.
Exactly. And most people aren't playing a dragon deck on a given Sunday. So in this deck, what you are going to struggle with is how to actually win. There's loads of cool ways to cycle things in and out of your library and to get loads of cool effects, stuff like that. How are you going to kill someone dead this motherfucker because he's a 5/5. He's huge. Your commander gives +1/+1 counters. You're just going to make him bigger and bigger and bigger. And whatever other creatures you have left on the board, you can just sack them out to get a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield for free. It's a free cast. So any other big monsters you have lying around in your hand, you can cast it for free by sacking 3 other creatures, which triggers your commander, which makes him bigger. Sort of goes without saying, really. This sort of effect is very powerful. Szarel's effect, does it double up on a turn? It doesn't, does it? It's only once per turn.
Whose ability, sorry?
The commander's. It's only once per turn, isn't it?
No, his land ability is once per turn, but his actual ability goes off whenever
you sack another non-down permanent. So
it's not once per turn.
Even if he's just a 2/5 as he starts at the beginning, if you sack 3 creatures and put them all on Akul, he goes from a 5/5 to an 11/11 flying trample. Crunch, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Crunch. It's one thing we've not talked about at all, is that giving Szarel equipment, giving Szarel +1/+1 counters, making Szarel bigger, just means whatever you're putting those 1/1 counters on will get bigger. Put it on Szarel the first time you do it. If you sacrifice an Apoken, put the 1/1 counters equal to Zarel's power and up to one other target creature. Oh, other. Can't be this one. You need other targets for those counters to go on. And you need something big and nasty that's going to wear those counters. And Akul is that creature. Like, there's other things in the deck that are big, but Flying Trample on turn 1, if you have 3 other creatures lying around, 11/11. And on turn 2, if you sacrifice 3 other creatures, to do it again. Because Akul says sacrifice 3 other creatures. It doesn't say non-token. That 2/2 Zomboni is dying.
Thank you very much, yoink.
That was my feeling, looking through all of this and looking at the deck list going, this is all very cool, but how does it win? And I think you need, like, this one in particular is awesome, but other effects that can give you sacrifice triggers. Flying and Trample is obviously an amazing keyword combination. Anything that says, I'm going to overrun your board, I'm just going to crush you with everything I've got.
Include Retreat to Hagra, and you've also got Death Touch. Which makes it even worse. Trample, Death Touch, Flying, 11/11. If they do manage to block it with their 1/1, bird, or whatever, 5/5 dragon or whatever, you just deal 1 damage to it and then deal the other 10 to the face.
Trample and Death Touch is a really interesting rules interaction, because what happens is you hit them, Death Touch, the first point of damage kills the creature, and then everything else tramples over. Doesn't matter how big it is.
Nope.
Just steamroller through everything. Yeah. Also, as I cannot stress this enough, the art is insane. Scorpion Dragon. What is wrong with people?
They have cool imaginations, that's what it is. And I think on that note, that is a good point for us to end this session. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We will be back in a couple of weeks with the next episode, where the commander will be
Kilo Apogee Mind.
There we go, because we're going to talk about the other precon. We will see you then. Goodbye.
Bye.